Good evening, wonderful people, great Biafrans, wherever you are on the face of this very planet Earth. Once again, we welcome you to another explosive, exciting, expository edition of our Wednesday live presentation on this glorious platform, this Radio Biafra, on this very day, Wednesday, the 23rd of September, in the year of our Most High Elohim, 2020. The time now is exactly 6 minutes past 7 p.m. in the blessed land of Biafra. And I also imagine the same number of minutes past the top of the hour, regardless of where you are domiciled or where you are living. I welcome you sincerely and wholeheartedly. Therefore, I say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you. Radio Biafra is listened to across every time zone on the face of this very planet Earth that Chukwukikabiama created. I welcome each and every one of you, and as I do so, I will please encourage you to welcome other people as well. If you're watching or listening via Facebook, on my wall, not minding all the suppressive activities of Facebook, I would encourage you to please try and share that as much as possible. I know most of you have now found a very safe home in IPOB community radio. Most of you are listening via that very platform. Some are listening via our satellite, even all the way to Europe. And I know that a greater majority of our people are listening via FM 102.1, depending on where you are, in Biafra land, in Lagos, in Abuja, and also in Kanu as well. We are broadcasting this very message that our people may become sufficiently enlightened to advise themselves that continued existence of the damnable zoological republic will mean their premature termination, not just of themselves, but their communities, their villages, and also their ethnic group as well, if care is not taken. Therefore, we are here to preach this very gospel of hope, of redemption, a gospel of truth, an unblemished propagation of the gospel of the restoration of the kingdom of heaven upon the face of this very earth. Without further hesitation, we are going to pray. And after we must have finished praying, then we will go on to bring to you what we have in store for you this very day. Because we know that the whole world is waiting very patiently to hear this very gospel this evening. We are going to pray. I am going to pray a prayer of David. My favorite part of the Torah is the Psalms. I love them and I love praying with them. I am going to pray a prayer that I pray every blessed day of my life. It is Psalm 70. And I will pray it in the language of heaven. Some are reminding me that I have not introduced myself. I don't think that I need any further introduction, but for those who are joining us for the very first time, you're listening to the voice of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, the leader of the Indigenous people of Biafra all over this very planet, the largest mass movement on the face of this very earth, bar none. I lead IPOB very graciously, of course. I also direct Radio Biafra and Biafra Television, but above all, and by the very special grace of the Most High whom we serve, Chukwukikabiama Prumihanine, a servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. Now we must pray. And I will pray in the language of heaven. Please, if you have a direct line to the Almighty in heaven, they will tell you that they are worshiping Him in this very language I'm about to pray in right now. The very oldest language on the face of this very earth. The language of the ancient people. Chineke nna nke pụrụ ime ihe niile, onye anyị na-efe wee na-akpọ isi ala anya. Chineke nna nke usu niile nke ndị agha, onye ndị Igbo na-etu ebighị ebi. Onye ọ bụ naanị ya kere ihe niile kere eke, mana onweghị ihe ọbụla bụ ihe kere ya. Ya onwe ya bụ onye nọ mgbe ji wee malite. Ọ bụ naanị gị bụ isi mbido, naanị gị bụ ọgwụgwụ nke ndụ mmadụ dị ndụ. Chineke nna nke ụmụ Israel, Chineke nna nke kere eri, Chineke nna nke ndị Biafra, Chineke nna onye na-adịghị agharịpụ ndị ya, onye okwu ya niile bụ ihe na amen. Anyị wee na-arịọ gị eze ndị nsọ, gị onwe gị bụ onye mmụọ na mmadụ na-akpụ isi ala nye, ka ị wee mụọ ọsịsọ ezi Chineke na bi n'igwe, ka ị bịa zọpụta ụmụ gị bụ ndị Biafra na ndị niile bụ ndị nọ na mkpagbu n'obodo ekwensu bụ Nigeria nke mmadụ dị ndụ mere, n'ihi na ọ bụ naanị gị na-eke obodo, ọ bụghị mmadụ dị ndụ. Anyị wee na-arịọ gị ka iwe gbatara anyị ọsọ enyemaka na ndị iro abatawa anyị n'ime ha, gbawa anyị okirikiri, wee jide ụmụ gị wee na-ala ha n'iyi, wee jide ọbara ndị nsọ wee were ya wee na-akwafu nna nke ebere, n'ihi na o nweghị mgbe ọbụla ọ bụ uche obi gị iwere anyị wee nyefee n'aka ndị iro ndị a na-ebighị ugwu, ụmụ ekwensu, ụmụ ọchịchịrị, kama ọ bụ site na nnupụ isi anyị na mmehie anyị iwe na-ata anyị ahụhụ wee ruo n'ụbọchị nke taa. Kama anyị wee na-agwa gị eze ebube dị ngọzi n'ụwa niile na-ege anyị ntị, na anyị na-ewere ihe niile nke anyị ụwa anyị bụ wee nyefee gị na ọ gbadara aka gị nna nke ebere, n'ihi na ọ bụ naanị gị nna nke igwe ka ihe niile ekere eke na-erubere isi. Anyị wee na-arịọ gị eze ebube dị ngọzi ka i wee tinye ndị dị etu a n'ụzọ ihe nakwa ọgba aghara, bụ ka ha rabụ ndị na-achụgharị anyị mgbe niile, ka ha wee memile anyị, ka i wee chụghachi ndị dị etu azụ, bụ Fulani Janjaweed na ndị otu ha niile, ma tinye ọgba aghara n'etiti ndị dị etu a bụ ndị chọrọ mmemila IPOB. Bịakwa ka i wee chụghachi ndị iro anyị azụ, ka ụgwọ ọlụ ndị dị etu a wee bụrụ ihere nke onwe ha, ka ha rapụ ndị na-achị anya ọchị mgbe niile, na-asịlekwa ka ọnọdụ ha dị. Kama ka anyị onwe anyị bụ ndị na-achị iru gị bụ ụmụ Chineke, bụ ndị nwe obi aṅụrị na obi ụtọ n'ime gị. Anyị onwe anyị bụ ndị nwe ezi ịhụnanya ebe nzọpụta gị nọ. Ọ bụ ya mere mgbe niile ka anyị na-ekwu ukwe wee na-abụ abụ wee na-eweli olu anyị elu na-asị, onye nwe anyị bi n'igwe, ka anyị jaa gị mma Chineke nna bi n'igwe, ka anyị jaa gị mma ọkaka, ka anyị jaa gị mma nwanne otu onye, n'ihi na anyị bụ ụmụ ogbenye, nweghị ihe ọbụla nke anyị nwe. Anyị wee na-arịọ gị ka iwe gbatara anyị ọsọ enyemaka ọsịsọ, n'ihi na ọ bụ naanị gị bụ Chineke na nke pụrụ m ihe niile. Ọ bụ naanị gị bụ onye enyemaka, ọ bụ naanị gị bụ onye nzọpụta, ọ bụ naanị gị bụ Elohim Adonai El Shaddai. Biko atụfukwala mgbe, bịa ọsọ ezi ebube dị ngọzi, ka Biafra wee bịa, ka anyị wee jaa gị mma wee too gị. Ọbụla dị ka ndị mmụọ ozi si wee na-agba oche oze gị okirikiri na nke ebere dị ngọzi wee na-asị na ede nsọ, ka anyị onwe anyị bụ anụkpa ahụ n'elu ụwa wee si etu a wee jaa gị mma ezi ebube dị ngọzi. Ka otuto niile na nsọpụrụ niile, ịja mma niile bụrụ nke naanị gị, onye nwe m, ugbu a ma ruo mgbe niile ebighị ebi, ka anyị na-arịọ gị. Ise, the language of heaven. If you pray in this very language, anything you ask for will be given to you. If your heart is clear and your mind is pure, that I can assure you. There is nothing that I pray for that I do not get. Absolutely nothing. Anything I ask for, I get it. I pray in this very language of heaven, the language of the ancients. If you want to know how to ask God for something and is granted, go and study the secrets of David. David is about the only person that knew how to speak to Elohim, and all his wishes was granted. Thank you very much. I welcome each and every one of you. All of you, wherever you are this very evening, you must get your pen and paper ready, because we are about to educate even the uneducatable. We are going to educate them this very day. We are going to speak the whole truth and nothing but the truth. A justification of everything we have been preaching from day one. I am starting today's program with that very letter that I now believe has gone viral. You know, sometimes I wonder only if we can reason properly, only if black people can reason properly and discern, only if we can read between the lines, can we then appreciate the magnitude, or should I say, the importance of this very correspondence from the very Baroness Cox, a woman that I met. I think that was last year. I went to the House of Lords and we met her, myself, And my immediate younger brother, as a matter of fact, accompanied me on that very trip, and also Solomon Ebu as well, who is our Manchester coordinator. We went to go and see Baroness Cox, and she spoke very well, very eloquently, very grand. And we knew, or I knew immediately, that she was a woman of immense courage and integrity. And today, I believe, with the writing of this very letter to Patricia Scotland, QC, who is the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, that she has justified my faith in her. She has justified my faith in her. And I wish that a lot of people can come up, not too long ago, just a few days ago, so to speak, the U.S. ambassador made history as being the first person, not just the first woman, but the very first person to guarantee what may resemble free and fair elections in the damnable zoological republic. And now that has been followed by Baroness Cox. I don't know the influence that women are having. I wouldn't say they're inordinate, but I do welcome all of them. And we are going to analyze this very correspondence this evening to lay a very clear and unmistakable foundation as to the direction the zoo is headed and what we all need to do individually and collectively to ensure the survival of our respective ethnic groups and our respective nations that lured, unceremoniously bound together in the British colonial experiment that they also christened Nigeria. Baroness Cox of the House of Lords of England, of course, of the United Kingdom, wrote to Right Honourable Patricia Scotland, QC, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth, who resides, whose office at Marlborough House in London is W1 Y5HX, a place I know very well, having lived there for very many years. And Baroness Cox started by saying, or by addressing her letter to Patricia. She said, "Dear Patricia, we write," we, meaning herself and a few other parliamentarians in the UK, "we write to highlight urgent concerns about escalating violence in Nigeria, where attacks led by Boko Haram, Fulani herders, and other Islamist militia continue in northern and central belts, with reports of increasing violence in the southeast. For the very first time, they acknowledge that there is violence being visited upon our people by the Janjaweed military, the army, and the police." You must listen very carefully in this letter, and also for the very first time coming from people that we consider to be part of the British establishment. A recognition that despite the coloration by some sections of the zoo media in terms of the description of those carrying out all these heinous attacks as Fulani herders, for the very first time they acknowledge that Fulani people are the ones killing, pillaging, maiming, and sacking towns and villages. At the risk of sounding like an ethnic bigot, which is what they often accuse me of, but the truth of the matter is that each and every of the now 7 terrorist groups in the zoo are all funded and staffed by Fulani people. And as I said, for the very first time, I know that the Foreign and Commonwealth Office will disagree with this. I know that those of them who work in their foreign missions, who get, should I say, quite a sizable chunk of bribe money from the Fulani Caliphate, will disagree with this. Anybody who is against it is in the payroll of the Janjaweed. You must understand this. For the very first time, they acknowledge there are attacks from Boko Haram, of course, but from Fulani herders. They called a spade, which is why I have regard for this very letter. If not, I wouldn't have read it out. And all that Islamist militia, which is also a recognition that Muslims are killing Christians in the zoological republic called Nigeria. For the very simple reason that the government, the army, the police, the customs, the navy, every paramilitary organization, every organization that bears arms in the zoological republic have all been Islamized. They're all staffed and led by Muslims from the Sahel. And they will kill for their religion. Under the cloak or cover of one Nigeria, they are now executing their master plan of conquest and forced Islamization. And I congratulate these parliamentarians in the UK for recognizing that. The reason why this letter is very important is because never, I cannot recall in the history of the Zoological Republic where parliamentarians from the UK have risen with one accord and one voice to condemn what is happening in the zoo or what their puppets, their lapdogs, the Fulanis are doing. It's never happened before. This is the very first time it's ever happened. You must listen very attentively. For the very first time also, they acknowledged Biafra. Of course, they cannot mention Biafra. They said Southeast. They know there is violence there. So all the tweeting we've been doing, all the campaigning, everything that everyone has been doing, not just us. There are a lot of people who are working very, very hard to convey this very message. And also, especially those of them from the Middle Belt, the very team led by T.Y. Danjuma, of course, that went to see them a while back. And they listened to him because he's one of them, and they believe him. And that is the main thrust of this very letter. Not trust, but thrust. T-H-R-U-S-T. Please, I must be quoted correctly. Now, I continue with this very letter. According to a report by the UK All-Party Parliamentary Group, APPG, for International Freedom of Religion or Belief, entitled Nigeria Unfolding Genocide. Do you know the funniest thing about it? This was the same genocide that was visited upon Biafra, because if you recall many years ago when I used to pray on this very platform, I said, "Dear God in heaven, allow all those who connived and conspired with our enemies to bring evil upon your children to experience the same thing we had gone through." Anybody who is an avid listener or follower of this very platform, Radio Biafra, will understand that in times gone by, that used to be my prayer. I don't pray that prayer today because the suffering is enormous, it is too much. But now there is an acknowledgement by the powers that be in the UK, those that created the Zoological Republic, that there is unfolding genocide. Unfolding genocide. An acknowledgement from a quarter that hitherto will do everything within their powers to deny Fulani atrocity. And make no mistakes about it, all the atrocities happening in the Zoological Republic is as a result of Fulani Janjaweedism. They want to terrorize you, they want to suppress you, they want to intimidate you, they want to colonize you, they want to take over your land, and they want to annihilate you. That is the way they operate, that is who they are. And that is how they will continue to be until somebody puts a stop to them, which is exactly what we are doing. Now listen to this very report. And I want it published on my page, please, so that people can follow accordingly. I don't know what other platforms there are that this very publication, I'm sure that most of you have seen it. But the only reason why I'm having to do this analysis is because I don't think that they did justice to it. They do very well, most of them, but I don't think that they quite handled this properly. Thousands of civilians have been killed, and elements of the Nigerian government may be complicit in violence. What it means is that for the very first time also from Britain, there is an acknowledgement that Aso Rock itself, the Fulani people in Aso Rock, they call them the presidency, the cabal, they are part of the violence. This is something that people would now need to acknowledge and, should I say, formulate a plan that neutralizes this very governmental complicity in the spread of terrorism in a place that they call a country or a nation. Now, these MPs and House of Lords members can see very clearly. Some of us don't understand the English language very well. And most of these letters are couched in what is called diplomatic speak. So you may not understand it unless you delve into it and begin to strip off all the layers of niceties. But in this very letter, they have dispensed with all of that. They have gone straight to the point. They are saying that this APC government, this government that you call Buhari, the dead man who is in Saudi Arabia, this government of a Fulani cabal, this government of Abba Kyari, this government of Issa Funtua, this government of, what is his name again, Mama Ndaura, this government of the Sultan of Sokoto, of the Fulani Irredentes, that they are complicit in the killing of their own people. Assuming you regard the zoo Nigeria as one country. These are people, you must understand that these are people who wouldn't normally be critical of a Fulani regime because they benefit from it. For them to come out so explicitly and boldly to condemn what is quite rightly unfolding genocide in the zoo tells you the extent of the damage that the Fulani Janjaweed has done to people in that damnable zoological republic. This very group, as their letter goes on to say, the APPG's concerns reflect the findings of a report by Amnesty International. The report is titled, "We Dried Our Tears, Addressing the Toll on Children of Northeast Nigeria's Conflict," which concludes, listen very carefully, which concludes that the Nigerian armed forces, the Nigerian army led by Buratai, have committed war crimes and crimes against humanity during their operations. They have never fought any foreign war. They have never conquered any piece of territory for the zoo. They have not done anything gallantry worthy of mention. They have not exhibited their heroics anywhere else in the world. Only, I am telling you, in the second paragraph, it says that the Nigerian government is complicit in the genocide going on in Nigeria. Third paragraph, the Nigerian army itself asking for weapons from China, asking for weapons from Czech Republic. They have committed war crimes. In other words, anybody supplying arms to the Nigerian army or Nigerian police are complicit in the genocide, or should I say the war crimes that these people are committing. Now you understand it. And you must now see the need and reason why we must resist. We must resist the zoo army. We must resist them. With the last drop of our blood, we must resist them. Because they are war criminals. That is what they do. Because they got away with crimes against humanity in the Northeast, they brought that also during their Python dance. And Britain was doing all they can to protect them. Britain knows the government, or should I say the administration of Cameron, the administration of Theresa May, and now also Boris Johnson, they are fully aware of the genocidal tendencies of Asorok. They are aware of it. They are all aware of it. But they have chosen to do nothing. Therefore, we thank these parliamentarians. They went on to say that the Nigeria's former Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Theophilus Danjuma, whom some of us have met and spoken to, says the armed forces are not neutral. They collude. You must understand, T.Y. Danjuma was the man that killed Ironsi. T.Y. Danjuma is a hater of Biafrans. I must tell you this very clearly. Maybe not anymore because they've apologized and we accept it. But I'm telling you that this man served in the military. He was part of Arewa. They thought that they are from the north, that Arewa will welcome them, that they are part of Fulani. They never knew that Fulani had ulterior motive, that Fulani even had a plan to swallow them as well. You must listen very carefully this evening. This letter is very, very huge. Only if I know after analyzing this letter, Fulani will do what they do best. They will pump money into the UK. They will pump money into the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. They will give so much money to the British High Commissioner in Abuja. They will pump money. They will bribe every newspaper. That's what they do best. People don't understand. That is what they do. The people who are signatories to this letter are those they could not bribe. I live in the UK and I've been meeting these people since 1997. I know them very well. You must listen very carefully, please. Danjuma said that the army in Nigeria is not neutral. Danjuma said they collude. Who are they colluding with? With the terrorists. That is why the army will now go and say terrorists have repented, they can now join the army. They are colluding. Therefore, when you see a military Hilux van in Asa, or see a military Hilux van leaving 82 Division in Enugu, you don't know if they're terrorists, you don't know if they're genuine army. Nobody knows anymore. The lines are blurred. When you see a soldier now in the zoo in Nigeria, you don't know if that soldier is there to fight terrorism or if that soldier is there to commit terrorism. You have no idea. These are the things people don't know. That is why our people must resign from the army. That is why everybody in the Middle Belt must resign from the army. That is why everybody from the West, Yoruba land, Odudua, must resign from the army. Because the more you are in the army, the more you are giving them credibility or this veneer of one Nigerian army, the more terrorists infiltrate the army, and the more they are using the cloak or the cover of the army to land grab, to go to your villages and kill you. From T.Y. Danjuma, a supporter of one Nigeria, someone who has benefited so much that he has an oil well, he has his own oil well. He's a multi-billionaire. He's not doing anything with money. If anybody has any vested interest in the sustenance of the Zoological Republic, Danjuma should be one of them. But he is not happy anymore. Because now, that very lion they've been feeding, which is Fulani Janjaweedism, is now about to consume them. That was why he said the army of Buratai is not neutral and they collude in the ethnic cleansing. Even in the riverine states, they would not say Biafra, they say riverine. Are you listening? By Fulani headers. He insists, that is Danjuma, that villagers must defend themselves. So even our dragon flag we have raised, Britain is aware, the whole world is aware that we must defend ourselves. If you don't defend yourselves, you will be swallowed alive. You will be killed. You will be emasculated. Your villages will be sacked. Your communities decimated. Your land taken over. And you, those of you who are lucky to survive, or should I say unfortunate to survive, you will become Islamized. It's here. You must defend yourselves, because depending on the armed forces will result in them dying. If you depend on Nigerian army to defend you, they are the terrorists themselves. You will die one by one. The ethnic cleansing must stop, according to this very letter to Commonwealth. I'm not sure they'll do anything. After all, Baroness Scotland, the zoo will give her, if they used to give her £1 million before, they'll give her £5 million now. I know them, that's what they do. I know the man responsible for distributing the money. He's also a member of the House of Lords. When the time comes, I will give you complete revelation as to who these people are. I will name the consultancy firms they're using in London to bribe the lawmakers. So Fulani can slaughter all of you. You will not hear Boris Johnson condemn it. You will not hear the Foreign Office come out and say, what is happening in Nigeria is wrong. They will never say it, because money is pumping in. There is free oil, free gas. As long as free oil, free gas is coming, courtesy of Fulani presidency, they have no worries. All of you can die. Now listen. Continuation of this very letter. The state's failure to protect its citizens is a clear breach of its obligations under the Commonwealth Charter in respect of human rights. Now there is a wide acknowledgement that Nigerian army is not going to defend you. Instead, they will kill you, they will rape you, they will help the Fulani terrorists to take over your land. Are you listening? This is from white people that don't like Biafra. This is from white people that hate the notion of an Igbo man ever coming up in life. They don't like it. They don't want to hear it. Their hatred for Biafra is total. So anything that's prompted them to say or write this is enormous. For parliamentarians in England to come up to write this, oh my goodness. That means that some of you don't even know what is going on the ground. These are people that they created Nigeria, they built it, they packaged it. They wanted it to have should I say, undue influence in the affairs of Africa so that Britain can control Africa through Nigeria. It's a very simple. They wrote it down. That was what, in the official documents that I have seen. Britain said, we want to build a huge country in Africa that can wield influence, and through them we can control the whole of Africa. Now you can imagine. We continue. They have failed. Now they concluded by saying there is now an urgent need to ensure adequate protection and aid for those suffering the loss of family members and the destruction of their homes and livelihood, and to end impunity by ensuring that complaints related to human rights violations are promptly, independently, and impartially investigated, and those responsible are held to account after their trials. No one was held to account. When IPOB was shouting and telling you what was coming, they brought Operation Pattern Dance 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then our Duduwa friends and brethren, they were busy laughing and clapping. Some in the middle belt were busy laughing and clapping, as they used to say where we come from. They said that naturally, somebody should translate in English, please. Somebody should translate. Somebody should translate for the world to understand. Today, when IPOB was fighting Fulani Janjaweed, we were protesting, we were rallying, we were marching, telling you that death is coming. Some people in Yoruba land, they said, no, leave them, let's see, he's a secessionist. Until Fashoranti's daughter was slaughtered by Fulani people. Until Fulani now occupy some forests in Yoruba land. Now their eyes opened. The Middle Belt were rejoicing after they were against Biafra, they were against everything to do with Biafra and freedom, until Miyetiala got into their villages and their communities, raped their children, abducted them, dismembered them, slaughtered them, took over their land, renamed it. Then their eyes opened. That thing we saw many years ago, you are only now discovering. And I say good morning to all of you, and I welcome you with open arms. Now, we can join forces and fight this monster together. And the only thing that is making them to survive, the only thing that is sustaining this Fulani hegemony, is the stupidity of some of the Efulefus buried in all these ethnic groups, all of them. Some more than the other. I can assure you. Some more than the other, I can assure you. But we're going to deal with all of them. In conclusion, they wrote, we write therefore to ask whether you are able to respond on behalf of the Commonwealth and to raise these urgent concerns with the Commonwealth Ministerial Action Group. We will be very willing to meet in person or perhaps more practically online via Zoom to discuss how we might proceed. This, as I told you about Britain and the white people, if you remember, a long time ago as well. I said, no matter how bad they are, I told you about England. No matter how bad they are, they have conscience. One day they will rise up and say that what is happening is bad, and they have done it. That's one thing about them. I told you that's one thing I admire about them. No matter how bad they are, one day they will rise up and say enough is enough. That was how they ended slavery. People went to court and argued in England that slavery was inhuman and inhumane. And they ended it. It's a country that, respects logic and reason. And now they have come to the conclusion that this cannot continue. They need a country or a nation exists to protect the people. When that state can no longer protect the people, that state loses or ceases to hold legitimacy to be called a nation or a government. Do you understand it? If you cannot protect lives and properties, that state should not exist. That is why you have failed states. States that can no longer guarantee the safety or well-being of its citizens and their properties. That's all. Is it happening in the zoo? Is it because you hear the little ones that you hear because of social media? If not, you will hear nothing. The killings will continue. Nobody will talk. Britain is getting oil and gas, so why bother? If America wants to decide, please, don't even go there. It's our territory, it's our area. We'll colonize them. Britain says, what are you going to teach us about Nigeria? I remember once, American diplomats were clamoring and saying that something needs to be done about Nigeria. I remember then, I saw the dispatch. Britain said to them, why are you bothered about Nigeria? We created Nigeria. They did not create Nigeria. Those black people did not. We created them. Do you know them more than us? And America kept quiet. And there's a very valid point. That Nigeria, you have a name today answering Nigerian is because Britain created you. You didn't create yourself. Let us be honest about this. All these people telling you about being patriotic, one Nigeria. I'm asking you, did you create yourself? Nigeria is about to be 60 years old. Is that correct? They said it's 60 years anniversary of Nigeria. Is that not correct? 60 years. So how about your father that is older than 60? Who is he? Or who was he? These are the things that, because we are black people, our reasoning, our mental faculties, our reasoning process doesn't extend beyond 1960. Ask yourself this question. Those of you clamoring for one Nigeria, saying Nigeria has to be one, despite all these impunities as chronicled by British parliamentarians, are you telling me that something that was created, or should I say, came into formal existence in 1960 and has represented only misery? Nigeria has only meant misery, death, and ethnic cleansing, genocide. Can somebody name one good thing about the zoo in Nigeria? Nothing. Now, why are you sustaining it? That is the question any logical person will ask. When you're in a marriage that is not, that is no longer, should I say, serving your interest, you leave. Is that not correct? Everywhere in the world, the essence of having one Nigeria has been defeated. There is no need for it anymore. Let people go back to where they come from before the white man came. Because by allowing Nigeria to continue to exist, what you're doing to yourself is that you are denying your heritage, your culture, who you are, and your traditions. You are saying that you don't exist. You're handing over all you are, your essence, to the British. That's what it means. You're saying you are my creator. Britain, oh Lord God, Britain. You are my creator. Anything you say we should do is what we are going to do because they created you. Remember that when God made the heavens and the earth, God gave Adam the power to name things. And God said to Adam, all these things you own. So name them. According to the scriptures. Adam started naming everything. So whoever gives you a name, own you. That is why when you're a child, when you're born, they ask your mom and your dad, well, what is this baby's name? They won't go to ask any other person, and your dad will give you a name, or your mom will give you a name, or they will jointly give you a name, and that is the name you're going to bear until you become an adult. If you don't like that name, you now do a deed poll and you change it. Because you are now an adult. Zoo at 60. Still answering a name that nobody can actually stand up and defend. And you're telling me that you're matured? Of course you're not. Now, as always, it will take the intervention of white people to help us. It took white people to stop slavery. Blacks did not stop slavery. White people did. Britain promulgated a law banning slavery. In America, the same thing. Abraham Lincoln went to war to stop slavery. White people did something about it. All we do as black people is to lament, to complain. We never go the extra mile to put an end to what I call established injustice. It is now taking the intervention of white people in England, Baroness Cox, Lord Alton of Liverpool, Baroness Kennedy, Jim Shannon, Lord Williams, Lord Carey, Dr. Christopher Coxworth, Philip Mount Stevens, Lord Stoddart, Lord Anderson, Lord Cormac, Sir Geoffrey Nyes, Ayo Adedoyin, Emilia, Ochab, Mervyn Thomas. In fact, do you know what I find astonishing here? At least there is an Oduduwa person here. A Yoruba man's name is here. But we have Igbo, IGBO. I know that Honora, what's her name? Is it Kate Honora? She's answering from Newcastle. She's there, but she is not here. She has collected her own money from Nigeria. But at least Oduduwa is here. Ayo Adedoyin is here. Who represents the International Organization for Peace and Social Justice. We have an Igbo woman in the House of Commons. I think it's Kate Honora. She's answering. I stand to be corrected. She cannot join. She has collected her own money and gone to sleep as her village is being ravaged by Fulani terrorists. That is our people for you. That is how we are. It is taking white people, to come to Africa to save Africans from themselves. The same way that U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, the U.S. ambassador in Abuja was the one white woman responsible for the first free and fair elections in living memory. One white woman, one single white woman. Now, whites are coming to save you. Tell me why they will not feel superior to you. Tell me why they will not feel that they own you. Because without their intervention, you cannot do anything. Whereas all it would have taken for us to change things in the zoo is Middle Belt, Oduduwa and Biafra rising up and saying enough is enough. Fulani will flee. Fulani will run away overnight. If we stand up tomorrow, before Sunday, Fulani will leave everybody alone. But they come to your village and they bribe you. They form Munich, Yoruba Muslim Association, they give them some small change. They come to our land, they get the likes of Ates, the likes of that effort is they give them some money, start talking rubbish. One Nigeria is our turn, we can salvage it. In fact, right now, funny enough, they no longer have anybody in the Middle Belt to go to, which is quite shocking. The people now yapping still the same old mantra, the same old rubbish are those from the west and from the east. The likes of Duro Nobule. I think I read something, one rubbish they wrote about, we are not for this secession. Seceding from what? I asked them. I will look at it. Seceding from what? When you hear fools talk about seceding from what? From a country that is 60 years old? When my history tells me or teaches me that my land is over 5,000 years old, how can I secede? How can you be in a house? You are in a house. And you say, the son will say, Dad, I'm seceding from you. You and your dad, it's your dad that will kick you out and say, you are over 18. Come on, go and look for somewhere to live. You come out and you say, Dad, I want to secede. Does that make any sense? 60-year-old nation, or should I say contraption? 60 years. How can I secede? I am older than Nigeria. How can I secede from it? My uncles are older than Nigeria. My mom was older than Nigeria before she passed on. My dad was older than Nigeria. How can I secede from something that I'm older than? I don't know where the brain of black people travels to. Only God can answer that. I'm immortal. I cannot. I want to know where the brain of black people, what informs their reasoning. Someone like Duro Noble writing garbage, writing rubbish, absolute rubbish. He claims an intellectual. Secession. They want secessionist group. Seceding because Fulani gives you money. Fulani doesn't want anybody to leave because they are lazy. They cannot do anything apart from moving cattle from place to place. They need the revenue from oil and gas. It's common sense. Only if you're a fool will you not understand it. White people are coming to save you. As always, it's always whites. End of slavery, white. It's always white people coming to save poor Africans. Always. And it's happening now again. People without shame nor honor. This is something we can do ourselves. Rather than, let me tell T.Y. Danjuma something. This is the long way of doing it. All you people have started very well in the Middle Belt is to apologize for what you did wrong in the past. That's number one. And now you build credible alliance. Credible. The mistake that people make in Nigeria always is this. When ethnic nationalities want to build alliances, they go back to Fulani slaves. the people that Fulani put in power, because they anticipated this time they knew was going to come. In order to preempt any outcome that will disfavor them or might appear unfavorable to their interest, they give you leaders. So if you come to Biafra land and you want to come and cut a deal as to how to deal with the Fulani people, and you have an award and you have Edwin Clark, these are their slaves, you're not going anywhere. I'm sorry to say, you're not going anywhere, you're not going to achieve your aim, you are not going to succeed. Now, what we need to do, or what people need to do, is to look for people of like minds. That is how to defeat Fulani. If you come and you're looking for the same people that are responsible for placing us where we are today, you will not make any progress. None whatsoever. Go and try and see. That is why Danjuma ran to white people to go and complain to them. Because we know as blacks, only whites can do something about our plight. How very shameful. How very shameful. That is the letter to Commonwealth, and I do pray and hope that Baroness Scotland does, look at it. She should I say, jettison every other financial consideration and give her fullest attention to this very letter. And then you will see the zoo change, because they understand that there's only one solution. The only solution is division. They know it. As long as you are with Fulani, Fulani must always try to take you over. This is something that fools will need to understand in the zoo in time to come. Once you're with them, one day, if they don't do it, their children will do it. What they think they're executing today was planned nearly 200 years ago by Ottoman Danfodio. So all of you, one Nigeria, we want to be in one Nigeria. I am telling you that you are signing your death warrant. You are placing your community in jeopardy. When Azikiwe was running around talking about one Nigeria, Azikiwe never knew a time would come when there will be Operation Python Dance. A time would come when girls will be raped in Uli and cut into pieces and nothing will happen. He never knew that a time will come when Ebonyi State, one will be struggling with Mietiala as to who owns Ebonyi State. He never knew that a time would come when Fulani Janjaweed will impose a governor in Imo State. He never knew. He was fighting for one Nigeria. One big Nigeria, Pan-Africanism and all that garbage. He never knew or he was unable to fathom the consequences. And here we are. This generation is now living with those consequences, trying to correct it, and it's very expensive and it's very costly. These are the things you ought to know. Anytime you see any idiot, any fool, regardless of his or her presumed education or degree of enlightenment or exposure, I am telling you that person is a compound idiot. I will challenge any non-entity to debate me anytime, any day. As I keep telling you, if you last, God in heaven is my witness. If you debate me and you last for 2 minutes in that very debate, I will know that I shouldn't be doing Biafra or agitating for Biafra. Nigeria is 60 years old. How old is your grandfather? Most of you listening, how old is your grandfather? Now, ask yourself this: what was your grandfather's country before Nigeria came into existence? And that is how I always start, and they run away. That is before you come, I won't even let you to get to all that nonsense about I am in Nigeria, patriotism and all that garbage. I ask you one simple question: how old is Nigeria? You tell me. Then I used to debate with my friends. They said, "Oh, Nigeria is 40 this year." Over 20 years ago. I say, okay, how old is your mom? Your mom is 45. So what was the nationality of your mother before Nigeria came into existence? And they start scratching their heads. But it is God and all the rest of it. I said, if it is God, then why do you answer Nigeria? Why is your name Nigeria? Why is it not that thing that your ancestors answered before the white man came? To truly reflect that your land came about as a result of fusion of common value system, which is what determines if a country should stand or not. Common value system, and they know it. But the thing in this is that none of their professors will ever delve into it. Never, never. And you see the zoo animal, they will scurry away with their tail between their back legs. Useless people that didn't go to school. They think that having degrees means you are educated. Of course you're not. Who created Nigeria? A man and a woman, mortal flesh. And I ask you, who created Russia? You can't tell me. Who created Japan? You can never tell me. Who created Korea? Nobody can. Only in Africa. Can you name a human being as being responsible for the creation of other human beings? What an utter abomination before God and before man. If you're strong in this zoo, you come and debate us. At the time that this letter was being written, because in this letter they mentioned Boko Haram, they mentioned Fulani headsmen, they mentioned Islamic terrorist groups. At the time of this letter, none of you knew that there's a new kid on the block, a new Fulani terrorist group on the block. And there was a video. Please try and send it to some of you. Should exchange it. I want it to appear on my page. Chinasa, make that very video available. There is a video of Boko Haram Fulani terrorists playing in their villages. They parked their cars and the AK-47 playing. Nobody came to bomb them. Nobody came to raid them. Nobody came to shoot at them. Nobody. I want that video published now. Look for it and put it on my page. As at the time they were writing this letter, little did they know that a new group is coming. Another Fulani group. Another Fulani group. They deceive all of you with their usual mumbo-jumbo, their usual garbage. And you fall for it. Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB, we don't fall for such garbage because our reasoning faculties are intact. Our brain is intact. Every day we analyze. Every day we compute. Every blessed day we are going through their intentions and their motives line by line. Some of you go to sleep. You eat and you go to sleep. You watch useless Big Brother, you go to sleep. We don't sleep. We are awake every blessed day analyzing the intentions of the enemy because some of you are blind. Spiritually, physically, morally, intellectually, you are all blind in the zoo. That is why something that is 60 years old is trying to arrogate power to himself over and above something that is over 5,000 years old. And you want white man that created Nigeria to respect you. You want white people to look at you as an African, as their equal. When you abandoned thousands of years of history to embrace something that is so plastic and so artificial is not even worth remembering. If you don't learn here, you'll never learn anywhere else in your life. This is the finest university on the face of the planet. As long as you're a black African or a black person with black origin, you can trace your origin to Africa. Radio Biafra, this gospel we preach is the finest thing to ever happen to you in your life. Is it a coincidence that they're now naming all of them who are Igbo? That the governor of Cross River State is now saying he's Igbo. Do you know what goes into what we preach? Do you understand the effect it's having on people all over the world? Military will get rid of Darul Salam terrorists soon from defense. How many of you know there's a new terrorist group from Fulani people called Darul Salam? How many of you, I'm asking you, you idiots, you busy watching Big Brother. I cannot understand these people. How many of you know there is a new kid on the block, a new terror group funded by Fulani people on the block? The name is Darul Salam. Do you hear Premium Times writing about them? Do you read from Daily Trust about this deadly group? No. It is this idiot, Enenche, whatever they call him. He says from Defense Headquarters, their spokesman. He was sacked before they brought him back to give that sort of middle belt coloration. The middle belt is north. That's why they put the idiot that is talking rubbish. Military will get rid of Darul Salam terrorists soon. So they're a terrorist group from Defense Headquarters, and nobody's shooting at them. We don't know who their leader is. We don't know who their proscribed leader is. Zoological Republic. I will read it for you very briefly. The Defense Headquarters has said the military will soon get rid of Darul Salam terrorist group in the country. The coordinator of defense media operations, he's not a coordinator. You know, they love copying IPOB so much. Anything we do, they copy. That was how they named, they accidentally named the Sibajo ones as a coordinator because we are on air every blessed day, appointing coordinators all over the world. They didn't know the time it infected their brain and they started appointing coordinators. Even now, even in the army, they have a coordinator. of Defense and Media Operations. Have you heard of such rubbish before? Only in the zoo. His name is Major General John Enenche. He said this while fielding questions from journalists while giving updates on the operations of the armed forces on Friday in Abuja. Enenche noted that the military was working with all stakeholders to put an end to the operations of the group in northern part of the country. In northern part of the country, northern part of Nigeria, a new terrorist group called Darussalam. Are you aware of that? Imagine that in the east, in Biafra land, there are 7 terrorist groups. By now, Britain will supply every known attack helicopter and fighter jet. They will bomb us to the kingdom come. Double standards. But you can see it. You can see it with your 2 naked eyes. Fulani, they have Boko Haram. ISIS in West Africa. Al-Qaeda in the Maghreb. Mietiala. Fulani bandits. They are different because Mietiala is Fulani headsmen. Then you have Fulani bandits. You have the one called Ansaru. Now you have the one called Darul Salam. 7 terrorist groups from one tiny ethnic group. One tiny, because they have spent years looting and stealing money. Years planting themselves in the military with the support of the British. The same Britain that is now crying. Because once the zoo implodes, Britain and Europe will receive nothing less than 40 million refugees. 40 million! That is why they don't want to open their borders to you. That is why they have suspended all visa for some of you zoo animals. Because they know the zoo is going to collapse. They don't want you in their country because if you're in their country and the zoo collapses, you can seek asylum and you can stay there forever. Now you understand. Here we give you information that you will pay very dearly to receive from any other source. It's free of charge here on this very platform. Blessed by heaven, of course. There is a new terrorist group. So I am advising the parliamentarians that wrote to the Commonwealth Secretary General to please revise their letter and add also Darul Salam. All you hear is that we have no state of emergency. That prostitute in Aso that idiot, with bleaching cream, very soon her face will burn. Loretta Onochie, supplying Edo girls to her clients in Italy. That idiot. Talking about state of emergency in the east, in Biafra land. Whereas there are 7 terrorist groups from Fulani, from Sokoto, from Katsina, from Kebbi. All 7 no state of emergency, no. But it's in the east. That is the day people will hear her story. I'm telling you the truth. And it won't be pleasant. I'm telling you. It won't be. The defense headquarters was determined to deploy both kinetic and non-kinetic grammar. Kinetic and non-kinetic means to rid the nation of the group and other forms of criminal elements. Kinetic and non-kinetic. But in Biafra, it is tanks, AK-47. Go to MNA and shoot people. Go to Aba, you abduct. Go to Asa, you abduct, you kill. Wherever you go to Obibo, go and you kill. Anybody you see, you shoot. Not a single terror group, not one. But where you have 7. The funniest thing is that the people with 7 terrorist groups who are funding them are the ones telling other people that they are coming to their land to declare state of emergency. Can you believe such rubbish? These are the consequences of weak leadership. I don't blame them. I blame those that claim they are at the helm of affairs. Those who claim they are at the helm of power. We must continue. This is a new group and you wonder what on earth the Nigerian army and police and DSS have been doing. DSS is meant to be a secret, intelligence gathering to preempt these things and to stop them from happening. But they are there. They're in Enugu looking for who to abduct. DSS are in Awas are looking for who to abduct. But we are in the north, where they should be focusing all their resources and energy and attention, they abandoned it. They came to the south to look for who to abduct. Secret Service, DSS. They are there. All they are now doing is to raid the homes of people, of unarmed civilians in Biafra land. That's what they are doing. Whereas in the north, the money, the budget they get is to stop these terrorist groups from emerging. Have they done it? The answer is no. They are busy chasing Biafrans. against the backdrop of the should I say, the relatively successful Edo elections, which I'm going to reference this to, we're always relying on white people to help us, we black Africans. Anybody telling you that they somehow made Edo elections to be free and fair is a liar, is a usurper. Only one person on this earth can take credit for Edo elections. Only one person. The US ambassador. No other human being. I heard Edo people, we want to thank the president for free. In fact, they're manufactured groups that don't exist. That's what they do. Brown envelope journalism. 4,600. I think the money has come down now. 4,600. Anything you want, they write for you. Some groups in Edo congratulate Buhari. Which Buhari? The one that you can see or the one you cannot see. We are coming to that later on. Because I think Simon did a very good job on the analysis of the video of the idiot addressing UN, recorded video. Have you heard of such rubbish before? We'll get to that later on. Against the backdrop of the relatively successful Edo elections, which the US ambassador is solely responsible for and no other person, Obasanjo has said what I've been saying all along, that only foreigners can solve your problems. Only foreigners. Oh, as always, only foreigners. When you're crying abroad, you run to even ANC. Do you know how apartheid collapsed? Do you think it's blacks in South Africa? Of course it's not. It is the worldwide coalition that ANC built and goodwill of white people all over the world that saw the end of apartheid in South Africa. Are you listening to me? It wasn't blacks in South Africa that ended apartheid. Apartheid was ended by white consciousness all over the world. By sanctions. By white countries. For your information. I'm not taking anything away from Mandela, of course. He's my hero till tomorrow morning. A great man indeed. A great man of history, no doubt about that. I should say that his tenacity and determination and doggedness made it possible for the world to eventually see the horrors of apartheid and walk speedily towards its end. These are the things you must understand. Now listen, please. Obasanjo said, why do you have to rely on foreigners to solve your problems, these black people? This is what I have been saying for years, that it will take the intervention of white people to correct the ills in the European colonial cages, I call them. We call countries in Africa, they are just colonial cages that they built. Arbitrary boundaries everywhere. They give you a name, you start answering, they give you a flag, you start jumping up and down. You see a few gluttonous, corrupt idiots, they start jumping, traveling to Paris, traveling to London, traveling to all over the place. Now it's Dubai, is their favorite hunt, is not Dubai. Black man, this UG, black. Obasanjo is saying, why are you relying on whites to solve your problems? American ambassador that they sent only a few days ago. American ambassador, one white woman in Abuja, one white woman delivered your first free and fair elections in living memory from her office in Abuja. She just wrote something. If you rig elections, you will not enter USA. We will deny you visa. And she wrote a few names of some people that are corrupt, and that's all. One single white woman in an office in Abuja managed to deliver something that is 200 million people couldn't do. Unbelievable. But what I will say is that it was the Europeans that built the mess the zoo is in. So maybe it's only Britain that can fix it. Who knows? Do you know what Obasanjo said? Obasanjo said, there is a problem when foreigners are the ones fighting for a better Nigeria, making reference to the letters that the parliamentarians wrote. There is a problem. Now, foreigners are the ones fighting for a better Nigeria. Foreigners are the ones fighting for you not to be killed in your farms in the Middle Belt. Foreigners are the ones now writing and saying that army and police should stop killing people in Biafra land. Foreigners, white people. That's what Obasanjo is saying. He might say, former President Olusegun Obasanjo has said that Nigeria is not where it should be due to leadership failure. Of course, he was one of them. Leadership failure. Every year they blame their leaders as if their leaders were thrown down from heaven. No, or from hell as the case may be, considering how awful they are. These leaders came from the people. And also, Obasanjo will be shocked that an average Nigerian, an average Nigerian is worse than the leader. An average Nigerian is a bundle of idiocy, is worse than their leader. Give them opportunity now. Ask them to go to House of Assembly. Are they not the same people in Imo State House of Assembly that said that you can give powers to governor to detain people at his pleasure? As a King Hope of Imo State. They are worse. It is not a crisis of failure of leadership. The problem with black people, especially exemplified by the zoo, is lack of ability to reason. The people are not reasonable because where people are reasonable, you cannot have bad leadership. If a bad leader emerges, they remove the bad leader. Bad leadership endure where people are themselves foolish. Are you telling me that white people did not have bad leaders? Of course they did. They overthrew their monarchies. That said that they are God, that God sent them. They killed all of them in Europe. Now Europe saw the light. So that is why there is a popular saying in England when I was going to school that people deserve the leadership they get. Because if you don't like that leadership, you remove it either through the ballot box or through revolution. If you cannot do either of both, then you live with the consequences of it. That is something that blacks don't know. That is how life is. Obasanjo said over the weekend they gave him another leadership award, 60th birthday retirement of one church somewhere in Abiyokuta, is it Ijebu there? I don't know. He said it is unfortunate that foreign nations now feel the need to intervene on issues that can ordinarily be addressed without external intervention. Very simple. White people are coming to save the niggers that they created in Africa. You, as a black man, you are not even ashamed of yourself. And the Fulani has no shame. You know, when somebody have said this, when you have no shame, it is difficult to shame you. They have no shame. That is why white people are coming to fix a mess that they created. 7 terrorist groups. They have run the most nepotistic government in history. Everything is Fulani in broad daylight. All of you, if you complain too much, they bring one of you and make you the DG of Ministry of Employment, and you're jumping up and down. We have gotten our own. That is how awful your reasoning and thought process is. And I won't fail to remind you of that every blessed day. That I can assure you. Obasanjo now knows white people are coming to save black niggers in Africa. Very, very sad indeed. This is the reason why everybody must sit at home on the 1st of October. Now, you see, people are very, very strange. You complain, Nigeria is no good, no light, no good road, the SARS everywhere, killing people, army killing people without, nobody even knows who is an army personnel or a terrorist anymore because they all wear the khaki uniform of the Nigerian army. You all know this, don't you? You know that your healthcare system is awful. You know that people died as a result of COVID-19 starvation because they had no means or any ways to try and access food. You know that very well. You know all these ills. Now ask yourself, what are you going to do about it? It's a very simple question. Look at white people are concerned about you. Ask yourself, as a black Nigerian, somebody who is in the zoo, nigger. Now tell me, what are you going to do about it? That is something you can do. And it's not going to cost you anything. 1st of October is round the corner. You are angry, you're upset. There is no need for you to be in your house or in your office getting angry and getting upset. Do something about it. Do something very legal. Do something that nobody, none of these Fulani military formations can come after you. It's very simple. Sit at home on the 1st of October. Right across the entire Zoological Republic. Sit at home, don't go anywhere. Keep your children indoors, no marching. Keep everywhere, keep off the streets. To at least let the world compliment what the British parliamentarians are doing. They are fighting for you. Compliment what Trump and his team are doing. At least they are fighting for you. At least show them, you are a drowning man or drowning woman. At least raise your hand up so that somebody can pull you out because you're drowning already. The only thing you can do is to raise your hand up so that somebody can grab it and pull you out. That thing you can do. metaphorically, on the 1st of October. You sit at home, don't go anywhere. The world, the diplomats in Abuja will ask them, can't you see your people are upset? That is one simple thing you can do. And that is why we are asking people to sit at home. You must sit at home. And I want to let you understand something the way that the Fulani Janjaweed papers are reporting it, especially the Premium Times. This very statement was issued today, if I'm not mistaken. And Premium Times, which is a Janjaweed, the Fulani newspaper, they carried it. You know what they said? I will read it for you, so you can all understand the mess that the zoo is in, the brain of a black man, a black journalist. I want to get into their brain to understand how they reason. They said, IPOB declares it at home for October 1st. Of course, we have. IPOB said its members will join its, not its members. IPOB is a nation. It is called Indigenous People of Biafra. There may be some efulefus you have bribed, some idiotic pastors you've given money to, some idiots calling themselves traditional rulers that Mietiala has bought land from. They are in a inconsequential and insignificant minority. We are the people and we own the land that we occupy. IPOB said its members will join its Yoruba counterparts agitating for the Oduduwa Republic in public protest to mark it. Of course we will. IPOB will come out all over the world. We are COVID-19 permitting, of course, restrictions in those countries to protest that the zoo is falling. And we shall do so happily and gladly with our Oduduwa counterparts. Of course we will. Because now, as I wrote earlier on my page, I now believe that a credible Yoruba self-determination leadership is now beginning to emerge. I said credible. Those that will not fail us tomorrow, they are now beginning to emerge. And we must warn very clearly. If anybody is thinking that they can use Oduduwa agitation at the last minute, they will say, okay, Tinubu, people are agitating in the east, people are agitating in the west. Let us give it to Tinubu so that agitation in the east can die down, or at least in the west can collapse. Then they are mistaken. Because my Yoruba brethren must know this. This is the final bus stop. If in any way this agitation for Oduduwa independence collapses because of Tinubu presidency, you know that the world will never ever believe you again forever and ever. You must understand that. Everybody must know that. That is why we say IPOB, we are not going back until everybody is set free. And we mean it. We are going to come out on the 1st all over the world to join our Oduduwa brethren in letting the world understand that the zoo has no hope. But we don't want to hear tomorrow that they have given Tinubu presidency and then you slacken and you change. We don't want that. I'm saying it so that the whole world can hear what I'm saying. Very, very important, please. I will go on to describe how this useless zoo newspaper reported it. They said, proscribed secessionist group. That's how they describe us. Proscribed. So if that one doesn't get you, secessionist would. Is a Fulani man, right? Secessionist group. Indigenous People of Biafra has declared October 1st sit at home across the southeast. No. We said across Middle Belt. Also in Oduduwa territory, Yoruba land, and the whole of Biafra land. This nonsensical reporting every time Southeast, every time Igbo. Have you been to Igodomigodo land to see the wave IPOB is making? Have you been to Izon? Have you been to Bayelsa to see how many IPOB families there are? Have you been to Cross River State to see how many IPOB families there are? Have you been to Akwa Ibom State to see how formidable IPOB is on the ground? People, you see, that is one thing about zoo journalists. They never investigate. They just write junk as you give them. Southeast, is that what the statement said? The statement said everywhere, including Middle Belt. So rather than T.Y. Danjuma complaining, now that they have left Arewa Consultative Forum, now that Middle Belt is standing on its own, 1st of October, you can send a clear message to the whole world. And after this very statement today, from tomorrow, you see they'll start distributing their money as usual. Traditional rulers, all the compromised socio-cultural organizations, they start moving their money to Ohanese, giving them money. They'll start talking rubbish. That's what they do. But the essence is this. We are live on air every blessed day, driving home the truth. which is this very narrative that if we all stand up, ordinary 1st of October, if you want Fulani Janjaweedism to stop in your village, ordinary 1st of October, lock up your businesses, stay at home, you see what will happen. Simple thing you can do. You don't need a white person to do it for you. You don't need a white woman to come and save you. You can save yourselves. You are human beings and you have brain in your skull. Do something. Register a protest. Say, I am not happy with what is happening. Sit at home. I did not say Biafra land. I said Oduduwa land. I said Middle Belt. Sit at home. Because at the same time, all over the world, we, IPOB and Oduduwa, will be joining together to go and protest, to let the world know. Now, when they come, they will see it is no longer Biafra. Now they will remember Ojukwu. They will say, but Ojukwu said something similar before, in 1966 and 67. How come? Oh, even now. So the agitation is no longer about the East, it's now also the West. Because people have now seen what we have seen. And let me also use this opportunity to ask every Middle Belt forum in the diaspora to come out as well and join us on the 1st of October. All over the world. In Nigeria, we are going to sit at home, but all over the world, we are going to come out. I want Middle Belt to come out with their own banner. Come out with your flag. Oduduwa will come out with their flag. Of course, the whole world knows who we are already. And now, white people will be asking, has it gotten to this extent? Then we refer them to the letter from the parliamentarians in England to the Secretary General of Commonwealth, highlighting what is happening in the zoo. If you don't stand up to say you are somewhere, nobody is going to quote you that you are there. This is something you need to fix in your skull. Proscribed, secessionist. So, what did Britain find when they came to us? They found Biafra. Is that not correct? Because we have the treaties they signed with Biafra. That is the name. Britain had a consular general to the birth of Biafra, even before Lugard came. I don't understand people. I don't understand how blacks reason. This idiot in Abuja is writing, proscribes, seceding from what? Biafra existed before Nigeria did. How can Biafra secede from Nigeria? I can't, for the life of me, understand how black people reason. I don't know. God knows. Now, who created Nigeria? Britain. Go and ask Britain. Do a bit of research. Go through their archives and ask yourself this very simple question. Ask yourself this very simple question. Did Britain ever send an emissary to Biafra before Lugard came to create Nigeria? Yes or no? Simple question. If you can do your research, I am asking Premium Times newspaper, Janjaweed paper, online paper. If you can do your research, you will find out that Britain, it was not Her Majesty, His Majesty. They had an emissary, a consul, a British diplomat was in Biafra land before Nigeria was created. Now, who is seceding from who? And please, Karamonde, let us educate them. Publish one or two of those treaties for the whole world to see. Publish it. I want to share it on my page as well. Karamonde, I want you to publish it, that the world may see that Britain sent a diplomatic envoy to Biafra before Nigeria was formed. Now, who is seceding from who? Some of you idiots, you fools that went to your useless zoo schools. You come up, secession, they are seceding. Britain recognized Biafra before Nigeria was created. For your information, you zoo animals. That's why they won't debate me. I beg them. But they went on to say, they said we are not a group, we are a nation. We are a movement. We are not, IPOB is not a group, we are a movement. The largest in the whole world, we are a movement. For your information. They said that the group said it's followed credible intelligence alleging that Fulani terrorists are planning to slaughter people of the region who intend to celebrate. Of course they are. Of course they are. They said they don't have credible intelligence because they too are working for the terrorists. The terrorists have not told them we're going to strike the east, but we know they are coming. How do I know terrorists are coming? I will tell you today what happened what happened a few hours ago so that you may understand. If you are planning anywhere you are, be you in the Middle Belt, be you in Yoruba land, be you in Biafra land, if you plan to let your children out on the 1st of October, prepare their burial ground because they will die. And I will tell you why. Now listen to this headline, as if they don't know. Premium Times is saying nobody told us because they have direct line to all the terrorist groups. They say, oh, nobody told us. Nobody told us. Nobody told us. Let me read a headline for you. School children, others fear dead in Kogi explosion. They are now targeting your children. In Kogi State, they have detonated their bomb as usual using Dangote truck laden with fuel. That is what they do. That is what they do. That is what they do. These are the things you need to understand. I'm going to read it for you. Tanker explosion in Felele, in Lokoja, in Kogi State. Who were they targeting? Several people, including school children, were on Wednesday morning killed as a petrol tanker exploded in Felele along Lokoja Abuja Highway. The victims of the tanker explosion, which occurred around 8:30 a.m. in the morning, close to the GT Plaza, included school children and students of a nearby Kogi State Polytechnic. They parked the tanker. They knew that children were there. They are now tired of killing all of you. In the so-called Middle Belt, they are now going after your children. They are using their favorite method, which is tanker explosion. They say, oh, it's a gas leak, it's a petrol leak, the usual garbage. And you people, as black demented monkeys in Africa, you swallow this garbage hook, line, and sinker. But you can't deceive IPOB, can you? School children killed. That is what they will do to your children on the 1st of October. Premium Times is saying, oh, we didn't receive any intelligence. Did you receive intelligence before they killed these school children? It is here. It is here. School children killed. Several, including school children. That's where they packed it. The same way that the Nigerian army killed us in Trade Fair in Festac using gravity bomb. They knew children were there. The new schools were nearby. Nuns were in their schools. They detonated that bomb, killing children. They have done the same thing in Kogi. When will your eyes open? When will your ears open? You black people in the zoo called Nigeria. When will your eyes open and your skull open? You realize that Fulani have come to kill all of you. When will you people reason? I ask. When? Bring out your children now on the 1st of October. You see what will happen to them. They have killed them in Kogi. They packed their tanker. In a primary school, they know that children will die. And they died. As they did in Lagos. Has anyone investigated the bombing in Lagos? Or the one in Akure? Has anyone investigated? The answer is no. All of you every day, Nigeria this, Nigeria that, big brother, who won election, who is going to vote, who's not going to vote. You people are fools. You are fools of the highest order. Vote for me. It's our turn. I will turn Nigeria around. I will turn Nigeria into the Atlantic. I will turn it into the rubbish. Meanwhile, they are killing all of you. And as they are killing you, there are men in uniform advancing. There is an alert this very second. An urgent, important message is emerging. Fulani Janjaweed soldiers, these are terrorists in Nigerian army uniform. They have entered or run in Akwa Ibom State. Through our waterways, they have come with gunboats everywhere blazing. Terrorism, that is the way they operate, to terrorize innocent people. They have come. Now that Boko Haram is in the army, who is an army officer, who is a terrorist? Nobody knows anymore. Nobody knows. That is why I said you must treat anybody wearing Nigerian army uniform as a terrorist until proven otherwise. I'm telling you the truth. Because you don't know who is who. They're in Oron. They're everywhere now with their boats. All Fulani. Most of them from Niger. Some are from Mali. Some of them from Chad. You don't know who is who. Nobody knows where they come from. Nobody has a clue. Because in the north, there is no ID card. You can do as you please. Their borders are open. It is, after where do all the foreign bandits come from, as they claim? Yet, people from the south, you people are foolish. You don't reason. You don't think very well. Middle Belt has even risen up. You don't, some of you idiots, you don't reason very well. Your brains are still not functioning. They have killed the children in Kogi. Is it in Delta that they will not kill the children? They've killed them in Kogi. The same way they killed our children in Festac. Have you all forgotten? You may have forgotten, but we have not forgotten. That is who they are. So I am telling premium times. Did you get the intel before they killed the children in Kogi? What makes you think that all the terrorist group that you Fulani people are supporting will now tell you before they carry out the attack on the 1st of October? Because it's going to happen. If you like, bring out your children, you see what will happen to them. You go and bury them in the name of one stupid one Nigeria that you're older than. Your father is older than one Nigeria. You want to bring out your little child, innocent child, to go and die for something that your father is older than. You people should develop some thinking faculties. They are now in Oron. We are warning everybody in Oron, in Akwa Ibom State, that the terrorists in uniform, they have arrived. The batch they have recruited from Boko Haram and other terrorist groups, they have now arrived. They have given them Nigerian army uniform. They are now in our waters in Oron. That is to warn you, to let you understand what is happening, to let you know what is happening, that there is terrorism everywhere. Fulani is terrorizing people, killing, pillaging, taking over land, committing genocide, not from me, but from the British. Now the British have recognized it. They have now recognized it. They have now, at last, they have come to the conclusion, what we have been saying from day one, that Fulani is the problem. Fulani is the problem of the zoo. Fulani is the problem. Children are now dead. So these Fulani newspapers claim that they don't know where this information are coming from. Can now see the evidence in Kogi. They packed the trailer in a primary school. They could have packed elsewhere. They packed it in a primary school and the Polytechnic, they detonated to kill all of them. Come out to march on the 1st of October. You carry your dead child back out of your stupidity and your ignorance for the Zoological Republic. To make matters worse, and as they have said, as the British parliamentarians have recognized and acknowledged, as they have said, the army today, now they are in Oron this night as we speak, the police and the DSS are part of the wider Fulani terrorist network. That is something you people don't understand. Now, you see the missing Burata, you can never see him again. I've told you that before. All you hear is a picture and video. You can never see him live, never again, because he's gone. You see, Burata's army and all the idiots that work under that fool. Let me tell you something you people don't know. You see, some of you claim you went to school, and sometimes, in fact, what we are going to do is we'll go down to all those schools you went to. We're going to shut all of them down. Because rather than teaching you how to reason, they made fools out of decent human beings. Do you know that the army, police, and DSS are part of the wider Fulani terrorist network? Do you know that Miyetti Allah is at the forefront of Fulani terrorism? Are you aware of that? Are some of you even knowledgeable enough to understand this? Every zoo agency is in on it. How? How are they in on it? Because their job is to cover up every terrorist attack. Once there is a terrorist attack, Facebook have collected their own money. Everybody is in on it. Once you are bribed, you take your money, you guys start to do the work that Fulani wants you to do. I published this on my page. I published it. Lagos explosion. BBC of all people. The daughter of Lucifer itself, BBC, uncovered evidence that contradicted Fulani NNPC, because it's Fulani in NNPC. Anywhere they carry out the terrorist attack, they look for the nearest Fulani agency, be it police, army, DSS to cover up, or NNPC to cover up for them. BBC went to Lagos, where Igbo people are, where Igbo people reside, where there were nursery schools, where there were Christian nuns, Roman Catholic nuns, teaching children in their primary school. They were evaporated. Nobody saw them. The bomb was so massive that the people were basically liquefied. You couldn't pick up a bone. Go and see the picture of that bombing. I think it's threat facing Festac. Now listen. There again, they destroyed the girls' boarding school. Do you see the pattern? The same way they destroyed a school today full of children in Kogi. That was how they loaded this bomb near a girls. You know, it's Boko, it's haram for girls to go to school. What is happening in Afghanistan? They went there, they blew them up. And once this happened, I wrote that it was a terrorist attack. I went on air to preach that this was terrorist. Some people said, no, how do you know? Oh, are you there? How do you know? I said, look at the epicenter of the explosion. Look at the crater. Look at the radius of the damage done. People were basically vaporized. You couldn't see them anymore. Where there were children before, no more children. Where children were residing in their schools and in their dormitories, nobody was there anymore. Vaporized. And I said that the Nigerian army used gravity bomb. Because some of you don't know that the Nigerian army is a full-fledged terrorist organization. Full-blown. Now tell me one good thing they have done. I challenge anybody on this earth to tell me one good thing the Nigerian army has done since the inception of Buhari regime. One good thing, please name it. There is none. Because Nigerian army is part and parcel of Fulani conquest agenda. They are part of it. It was the army, not even Boko Haram, that detonated the bomb in Lagos on March 15th. Always in the morning. They bomb in Kogi. Always around between 8:30 and 9 o'clock in the morning. Go and check all their bombs. Go and check it anywhere. This one was done by the Nigerian army. Do you know the good thing about it? BBC that supports Fulani terrorism. They are the ones that carried out investigation. They went and they said, given the magnitude of this bomb, we have investigated. There is nothing like gas explosion. There is not even one simple gas pipeline there. So how can you claim it is NNPC gas pipeline explosion? Because, now ask yourself this question. Why would NNPC go as far as providing an alibi for a terrorist attack? Ask yourself that question. It's common sense. Why would NNPC go as far as trying to provide an explanation for an explosion that killed many children, of course, Igbo children, that has nothing to do with them? It is that Fulani organized terrorism. Organized. Every state department, listen carefully, every state apparatus, every state department headed by a Fulani person is part of this wider Fulani terrorist state network. Fulani is running a terrorist state. The state of Nigeria is a terrorist state. And the army is a full-fledged arm of a terrorist organization. For some of you fools that don't know. The same bomb they used in Lagos, they used in Akure. Go and check it. The same gravity bomb. Once it explodes, you don't start counting casualties because you can see them. They vaporize them. And this is the country that some people are contemplating selling arms to. The more you sell, if you're selling arms to Nigeria, it means you're selling arms to a terrorist or a highly efficient, highly organized killing machine. A terrorist state you're selling arms to. That is what we must preach. New evidence indicates that NNPC explanation for the cause of the blast that decimated over 1,000 square meters. 1,000 square decimation. Evaporated everything in Lagos is incorrect, according to BBC. Is incorrect. BBC that them and Fulani are in bed together. I don't know who pregnanted who, but they are in bed together, Fulani and BBC. They are one family, one terrorist aiding family. BBC. For BBC to look at this overwhelming evidence and say, hey, NNPC, you're lying, and go to NNPC. Who is in charge of NNPC is Fulani. So why would a Fulani man in NNPC try to defend a bomb planted by Fulani terrorists in Lagos? That tells you all you need to know if you have any brain in your skull. Now, are you following? Now, I want the world, of course the whole world, I want the world to understand that people in Nigeria don't reason. Ask yourself, what is NNPC's business? There is a terrorist attack. What is NNPC doing providing explanation? To tell you that every organization headed by Fulani, is part of this terrorist conspiracy to terrorize all of you into submission. The Middle Belt should be grateful that somebody like Danjuma is still alive, at least to speak. I'm telling you. This is the place that people call a country. This is where you want to send your children out to go and do marching. Do you see how free some people are? Children were killed in Lagos. Today, children were also killed in Kogi. What does that tell you? Bring them out now, and they will perish in your next life. All you do, you run to your pastor. You'll be crying, Pastor, I don't have any more children. My children are dead. The pastor will tell you, but first of all, bring your tithe and come and sow seed so that God can bless the womb of your wife to give more birth, to give birth to more children. Now you understand it, don't you? Now you are following it, don't you? I want the world to understand what human beings are facing in Nigeria. You people don't know what you're suffering from, your afflictions and your pains. You don't know where it's multifaceted. You don't know where it's coming from. Facebook has collected their own money. Facebook, they have their own cash with new office in Lagos, all paid for with money from oil and gas from Biafra land. And they are against Biafra. The same old pattern, the same old story. But we are defeating them because they are children of darkness. We are prevailing over them. Every blessed day, the same news. 3 killed residents flee as soldiers raid a community in River State. I want to ask you a question. Given the 7 terrorist groups you have in the north, has anywhere been raided by the Nigerian army? The answer is no. But in River State, they raid and they kill. Some of you idiots that say they don't exist. Let's be honest. Not everything you read on social media is correct. Those are fake accounts by Janjaweed and by people running their attacks for them from Israel and from Turkey and from Russia. They don't exist. 3 people killed as soldiers raid a village. Soldiers that are supposed to be protecting people, they are busy killing them. Fulani soldiers in Biafra land. That was what that report captured. That the Nigerian army are killing people in the riverine areas. They are killing people for no reason. Do you see why you must be on Twitter? Some of you, when we warn you, go on Twitter. I know it's not like Big Brother, it's not like Facebook, it's not glamorous. You don't gossip very much. You don't have a lot to write. But that is the platform that delivers the short, sharp message that the world wants to consume. Nigerian army in River State. What are they doing? They told them, oh, Rivers is not Biafra. It's not your Niger Delta. But they're killing you. When they're killing you now, you are no longer their Niger Delta friends. Like Amage. 3 persons were feared dead, while 2 others were injured during an alleged joint security operation in some communities in Andoni. It's an Igbo community. Andoni local government area of River State. They want to kill you. They want to intimidate you. That is fun. That's how they work. That's how they operate. Terrorism. Our correspondent gathered that the joint security raid comprised of the police, the military, and members of local security outfit. They were said to have taken the community by storm in gunboats. While residents were preparing for such services, army was invading as if it was a foreign country. This is people that have a constitution that says that the army is there to protect the external borders of Nigeria. But here they are in Andoni, killing and shooting people. Andoni is an Igbo village. Andoni is an Igbo village. But they moved Andoni into rivers and made them Niger Delta. Do you understand? And today they have come to kill in our land. Do you see? You don't know who is a terrorist. You don't know who is an army officer. All of them kill innocent civilians. All of them. That's what they do. And that is why they will find things difficult from us. They will find things very, very difficult from us. They will find things extremely difficult from us. Very, very difficult. We are live and we are direct. And Elohim Chukokikabiam is bearing us witness. That everything we say here is the truth. The whole truth and nothing but the truth. You cannot suppress it. You cannot suppress it. You can never ever suppress it. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. It's very, very sad indeed. Has the news finished? No. As the army are busy killing people in Andoni with a military uniform, so are the real armed headers, Fulani, invading Governor Autumn's village in Benue and killing people. Now listen to this, please. Listen to it. Who are invading communities in the south? Uniformed terrorists. They're wearing army uniform. Terrorists and police. But the real Fulani Janjaweed are in Benue slaughtering people. And you want them to come out on the 1st of October to celebrate what? I ask. To celebrate what? I ask. Now listen. A farmer has been reportedly beheaded while 4 others were hacked to death in a fresh attack by suspected armed headsmen on Se Akwera, Nzorov, Governor Samuel Autumn's hometown in Gumalo government area of Benue State. They chose his hometown because he is against Miyetti Allah. He doesn't want terrorists in his state. That's why they went to his village. They killed 4 people, hacked them to death. And I'm asking Britain, I'm asking Boris Johnson, where on earth will such mayhem and lawlessness be going on and there is no official comment from the people that set up that very enclave? Britain created Nigeria. Britain owns Nigeria. We know that for sure. They own it. Why is Boris Johnson not saying anything about what is happening in Benue State? Because the British High Commissioner has now relayed these very reports to London. That is the problem. As they are busy killing, listen to the pattern, as they are busy killing in Andoni, they are also busy killing in Benue. Everywhere there is death, mayhem, bloodshed. And you want to go out on the 1st of October to go and do what, I ask you? How do you tell the world that you're upset? Is it by watching Big Brother? Or by watching the Premier League? Oh dear me. Black people. That is what is happening in Autumn's village, in his hometown. How long can this go on for? School children being blown up? People, terrorists in army uniform invading Andoni village? Terrorists in Miyetti Allah outfit invading Benue? Everywhere is death and mayhem. And who is happy about it? Who can be happy about it? Always using tanker to terrorize. Always using tanker to terrorize. Is it the end of the story in that side? The answer is no. As they are busy writing secessionist proscribed in Ebonyi State. Why were we proscribed? Is because we said no to Miyetti Allah, to Fulani terrorism. IPOB is at the forefront. We are fighting terrorism and we have made it known to the whole world. We are fighting uniformed terrorism. We are letting the whole world know that Nigerian armed forces, they are a branch of Fulani terrorist network. Nigerian army is a terrorist group. The police also the same. They are terrorists working for the Fulani, advertently or inadvertently, to advance Fulani hegemonic influence right across the territory known as the Zoological Republic of Nigeria. That is what they are doing. A Biafran has been killed in Ebonyi. Did the governor say anything? Has anyone heard Omahi say anything about it? But if a Fulani headsman meets his Waterloo in Ebonyi State, you see the governor coming out, running around. He wants to be the president or he wants to be the vice. I don't know. Do you now see how these people behave? These are the people you want us to respect. You want us to love them. You want us to do all of it. Do you see how they behave? Are these the qualities of leadership? I ask. I want that picture to listen. I asked all of you to be on Twitter for a reason. You see this picture here of this lady. We are going to tweet it to the whole world tomorrow. This woman butchered in Ebonyi State by Fulani people. Now, the army didn't save her. The police did not save her. Nobody went to her rescue. She was slaughtered. The video is there for the whole world to see. And tomorrow, every government of the world will receive it. But every government of the world will receive it tomorrow. A Biafran woman. This is what IPOB is fighting against. Some of you idiots who don't know, or you claim you don't know what we are doing. This is what we are fighting against. It's not all the work that we do that you can see. This is whenever you see the army raiding, coming to arrest a coordinator, coming to arrest, is because they are creating a pathway. They are creating a pathway for terrorists to strike. Some of you are so foolish you don't know it. When you see them running around in their hillocks trying to arrest one IPOB officer or the other, they are doing it because they are planning for the main Fulani Janjaweed, the main terrorist group, to come and take over. That's what they do. Isn't it? Also one. Now in Ebonyi, has Umahi said anything? How about your Ohaneze? Your Ohaneze apex rubbish, Ndara. Your apex idiots. You are there. Our daughter was killed at Uli. Fulani terrorists, they raped her. After raping her, they cut her up into pieces. Did Ohaneze say anything? Did the governor of Anambra State say anything? Are these the leaders you're talking about? Are these the leaders, I ask you? People have no shame. You have no shame. Tomorrow we are going to test the whole world. The whole world with her picture. Everybody, if you're not on Twitter, between now and tomorrow, you must be on Twitter. Stop talking rubbish and go on Twitter, because tomorrow Trump will get it. We are going to bombard number 10 Downing Street. We are going to bombard that woman, that British woman in Abuja. Every government of the world will receive it tomorrow. This woman. She's a Biafran. Now she's dead. It happened on Tuesday, 22nd of September. At Ishiago, Ivo, local government area of Ebonyi State. Fulani headsmen killed her. Nobody has said anything. No leader. I said, Chineke Menandi Ebere, I want, come and campaign for 2023. And thunder will fire you. Come and campaign. Look at this girl, she's dead. The governor is there talking rubbish. All he wants is to be president of Nigeria. Your people are being killed. Your land being taken over by Fulani every blessed day. Fulani terrorists. IPOB is there fighting on. We are losing men in Ebonyi. To save you from yourselves, to save you from your idiocy and stupidity. And some idiots have the guts and the temerity to stand up to criticize IPOB very soon. Chineke Menuna, very, very soon. Very, very soon. You pay very dearly for your idiocy and stupidity. You go and join Fulani Janjaweed, I'm telling you the truth. She was rushed to hospital, but she died. Look at the video. All of you supporting One Nigeria, look at the video of this, our sister. Hacked to death by Fulani. Killed by Fulani terrorism. Supported by a Fulani terrorist army and Fulani terrorist police. Everywhere terrorism. Either in uniform or with their nonsense that I don't know what they call it, if it is kaftan or whatever rubbish they call it. This is the idiotic, demonic place you are telling me I'm seceding from. Mad people everywhere. For how long are we going to endure this? For how long are we going to endure this? They attack you with their tanker. They attack you with Fulani headsmen. They're in the bushes killing. Fulani police and army, they're on the roads killing. God have mercy on these people. Everywhere is death. Everywhere is death. Anywhere you see death, there must be hand of Fulani in it. The Fulani is in it. And all of you tolerate them. All of you condone them. Lord have mercy upon your wretched souls. People are dying everywhere. Butchered in broad daylight. Butchered in broad daylight. You don't know who is who. Complete collapse of society. That's what you have. And I will tell you why in a short while. Why you have this nonsense. Is that over? I want to tell you what is happening in the zoo so that you can understand. Policemen involved in an operation that led to the killing of Daniel Ikaguchi has been transferred to CID in Iguacha, River State. The same thing that the British report was talking about, killings in riverine areas. Some of you are daft, you cannot reason. Some of you idiots that say you are not from Biafra, I'm from Niger Delta. Can you see where your idiocy and stupidity is leading you to? Can you see your foolishness before you? 4 policemen arrested for murder. Army has invaded Andoni to kill. This one also in Elelewo, they have killed police. Army killing in Andoni, police killing in Elelewo, Mietiala killing in Ebonyi. Hey, God, are you in heaven at all? What is going on? What is happening, I ask? When IPOB rise up to challenge this, idiots start spewing. Anyway, I am very happy that now in Biafra land, you can talk rubbish on social media or maybe in your church. And that idiot, of course, he knows what is coming. You come to Biafra land and say it. Come outside and talk rubbish against IPOB. You'll be buried alive. You'll be buried alive. I'm telling you the truth. Because the enemy within is worse than the enemy outside. The enemy within. Because without an enemy within, Janjawe, the Fulani cannot be doing what they're doing. There are those who are within. The traitors are within. They are the ones we should be concerned about. And the ones we should be dealing with. I'm telling you the truth. All of them. It doesn't matter if you belong to any socio-cultural rubbish and you're an agent of Fulani. You are the one bringing misery and death to our people. You are more dangerous than El Rufai, who is the head of the Fulani terrorist movement in the zoo, Nigeria. They killed somebody in Iguacha. He's a musician, Daniel Ikaguchi. They say he's Niger Delta. Don't mind that Biafra, you're not a Biafran, but they have killed him. That is this whole Niger Delta garbage, the idiocy of it all. When you're a fool, you're a complete and utter idiot. Niger Delta. They have killed him. His name is Ikaguchi, a Niger Delta. When they want to kill you, they separate you from your people and they slaughter you and nobody will come for your rescue. You are gone. SARS. Killing, maiming, and pillaging. Tomorrow when we react, they start talking rubbish. Now that SARS is going about killing people, nobody is talking. Nobody is talking. Very, very sad indeed. Has it stopped there? No, of course, I'm bringing you news of Nigeria. How beautiful one Nigeria is before you go and do your useless marching on the 1st. Or before you start flying green, white, green. I'm a Nigerian. Fulani headsmen kill a traditional ruler in Plateau. Are you listening? Fulani terrorism is everywhere. No state is spared. Now I ask you, why can't you sit at home on the 1st of October and say no to this rubbish? Gunmen suspected to be Fulani headsmen, Miet Yala, on Monday night killed Dabulus Chuwang Jang, the acting Gwamwe of Foron district in Barakin Ladi local government area of Plateau State. I think he's a local chief. Details are still sketchy. However, it was gathered that gunmen invaded the house of the deceased on Monday night, September 21, and hacked him to death. Fulani killed him. All of you are there talking about Fulani presidency. It's possible. Oh, Tambuwal, he wants to take the governor of Enugu State to be his running mate. He wants to take Umahi. You people are done. God in heaven, are you sure you are the one that created these people? They killed a traditional ruler in Plateau. Everywhere. I said, go and look at all the killings. Go and look at it. All the heinous killings. You see Fulani thumbprints on all of them. Tomorrow you say you're in one Nigeria. They need your one Nigeria to conquer you, to emasculate you, to strangle you. As you're shouting one Nigeria, green, white, green, you're dying. Your village is dying. Your mothers are being raped. Your daughters are being abducted as you foolishly mouth your garbage one Nigeria. Is that very clear? Mokoko, that have no brain. Very, 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 very sad indeed. Very, very sad indeed. Traditional ruler killed. And now, For the final confirmation, I want it, the final confirmation, if any is needed, that DSS, Army and Police, I am accusing them tonight, they are the front line of Fulani terrorism. Your uncle, your brother, your sister, your friend may be working for Nigerian Army, Police, or whatever without knowing it. But I'm telling you that they are aiding and abating Fulani terrorism. And now let me tell you why. DSS, the same DSS, have asked a journalist, Masara Kim, to retract a publication exposing plans by headsmen to attack Plateau communities. That is after that man has been killed. This very journalist, his name is Masara Kim, he broke a story revealing the meetings held by Fulani groups in the state to purchase weapons and resume hostilities on farming villages. DSS, the same DSS that used to invite our good brother Mailafia, Obadiah Mailafia, remember? For saying the truth. Every time Obadiah Mailafia come, a journalist have, instead of them to invite the Mieti Allah terrorists in Plateau, they now said to the journalist, you must withdraw that publication before the villages are attacked. DSS is working as part of the Fulani terrorist front. Wherever you see DSS, they are part of the Fulani terrorist. Wherever you see a soldier, any army person that you see, regardless of where he or she comes from, they are part of the terrorist agenda. The same thing with the police. They are part of the wider Fulani terrorist agenda. They are serving Fulani terrorist interest. How can a journalist, based on credible information he obtained, published an article in a constitution that allows you freedom of speech? They invited him and asked him to withdraw the publication because they don't want to reveal that their men are going to attack farming villages. People wake up and say one Nigeria. In that same Jos that day, this Jos, Plateau State, on the 1st of October, you will see them going, one Nigeria, we are our Independence Day, Nigeria is 62. Idiots, fools. The more you talk about one Nigeria, the more you are aiding and abating Fulani conquest of your town. Because despite how much Obasanjo claims he loves Nigeria, Obasanjo cannot defend you. Can never defend you. Never, ever, ever. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. Never will they defend you. These are the things you ought to know. These are the things you're exposing. That is the reason why they don't want IPOB. That is why they are proscribed. They proscribed secessionists to poison your mind. To poison your mind. That is how they operate, to poison your mind. Because some of the wretched Igbo journalists, if they don't write proscribed, their Yoruba editors will not publish it. They say, hey, are you IPOB now? Come on, go and write it. Say they are proscribed. Their leader is on exile. Write it. You know, black people, very demented. And idiot, because he doesn't want to be behind in his rent. He will write it. Proscribed secessionist group or Igbo secessionist group. They will say Biafra. The idiot writing that garbage hasn't been to Cross River to see how IPOB is on the ground. They've not been to Akwa Ibom to see how powerful we are. They have no clue. Proscribed the secessionists. That's what they love. To poison your wretched black mind. So once you start reading it, you're biased. If they're proscribed with the secessionists, that means, let's see if we will not take them, maybe. That's how they reason. A journalist has been asked to retract what he wrote. Now listen. The reason why I said that Nigerian army, I'm warning them tonight. I know Burata doesn't exist. He's no longer there. They're just using his name and old pictures to publish garbage. He's no longer there. He ran away. We all know that. If he's dead, I don't know, but he ran away. Burata doesn't exist. That is why there is no live video. The same thing I say about Usibanjo, the same thing I say about, in fact, is even these days, if you always, there is, please, somebody translate for me. It's Nango Adegere Tanya Nanya. Ngo. I don't know. What is Ngo in English? I have no idea. It's Nango Adegere Tanya Nanya. Go and try it. Somebody should translate for them, please. You know what that means? I warned you that that boy in Asorok cannot appear live anymore. If he comes out live and you hear Andrew, eat him raw. IPOB is waiting. Even to UN is a recorded video. We are coming to that in a short while. But I want to let you understand the reason why every army officer you see is a terrorist. Or in fact, you don't know if they are real or they are fake. Because we have information here from Ogun State that police have now paraded 7 fake soldiers. 7 fake soldiers. You don't know who is a terrorist. You don't know who is a soldier anymore in the zoo. That is what the Fulanis have been able to do. They have blurred the lines. And as a result of that, there is insecurity everywhere. As a result of that, people are dying. As a result of that, impunity is happening on a daily basis to the extent that Britain that loves the zoo so much and Fulani rule, that some of the parliamentarians are now complaining that enough is enough. That tells you all you need to know. Which part of the zoo are you going to discuss and leave the other? 80% of everybody working in Niger State Ministry of Education has a forged certificate. Now, when I tell you that going to school in the zoo is an impediment, some of you said because he went to school abroad, he thinks some of them will actually hide and try to attack what we are preaching, attack IPOB or attack Nnamdi Kanu. They don't want to come out and say, I'm upset with you because you said those of us that went to school in the zoo that we are dumb. Why won't you be dumb? Why is it, when people are wondering, why is it that Nigerians cannot reason? I want them to know that in one state in the zoo, Nigeria, in Niger State, entire education ministry, they are all not qualified to do their jobs. 80% of them are working with forged certificate. Now tell me what knowledge they can impart on people who are studying under that very system or regime, so to speak, in Niger State. Do you see why Nigerians are dumb? Those who are supposed to be teaching them are on forged certificate. They didn't go to school. That is why, in all honesty, universities and institutions should be shut down. That Nigeria is not developed enough to have a university. Maybe they can have college of teachers training college, yes, or maybe not even a polytechnic, teachers and arts and crafts, carpentry, something. They can do that. Nigeria is not advanced enough to have a university. 80% of staff at a sensitive ministry of education, they have no certificate. 80%. And there are graduates from there, online, talking rubbish as always. Zoo animals everywhere. So sad. Where is it the killing? Is it the fact that everything is forgery? Everything in the zoo is forgery. What is it about the zoo that makes you to be proud? That will make you go out on the 1st of October to go and talk rubbish about one Nigeria? Only if you've been paid. Because I know that now that harlot will mobilize all the harlots in the zoo. All the prostitutes in the zoo mobilized by Loretta Onoche. That is her job. She will share money to them. Maybe to come out and do a harlots parade near Asorok. A madam that made it to is it, what, she's in charge of Twitter, is it? That bleaching harlot. She's in charge of Twitter handle for a man who is dead and buried in Saudi Arabia. Very, very sad. Now to the very fake president Buhari, very, very fake. Very, very fake. There was something, some of you that do Facebook Live, I take time to watch most of you and all of you. I watch what Simon Ekpa does. He does a very brilliant job. I watch Igbo Unite. What he's doing is very good. I watch Prince Darlington. What he's doing is absolutely wonderful. I watch Ikenga from South Africa. What he's doing is very, very brilliant. I also watch Maegun. I don't miss him. I try to watch him all the time. Maegun, I think is the first Yoruba man I've ever seen who speaks the truth and stands on it consistently. The first I've ever seen. I've never seen any other one. From time. He's the only Yoruba man I've met. That thing he said in 2017, he said it in 2018, 2019, 2020, he never changes. People that earn respect. That is how you earn respect. Consistency. I want us to to look at something this evening. Something very, very interesting. It was something that I think it was I came across this very thing on Simon Epa's wall, and I picked up on it. I love his analysis of this very video. I love it so much. I love it. Very, very brilliant analysis that he did. The same way that I love the analysis that Mayego does, and also what Igbo United does, and Ikenga as well, and also Darlington. These are the, if you want me to please review what you do, you don't even have to tell me, because I go through Facebook and I see all of these things. I see them. I see who is doing what. The way you analyze will tell me if you have learned anything from years of listening to Radio Biafra or listening to us preach here. I want to play a clip for you. And I want Facebook, please post it on my page and address Facebook, please, and AFP, fact check those criminals. Address them, please. I want you to tell me about a president anywhere in the world supposedly meant to address the UN live, but they played a recorded video. Now let's watch. They play it for you and also play it for the whole world. Because they are scared of Nnamdi Kanu. They're afraid of IPOB. I say, bring that idiot live. Aboriye. We dissect the idiot. That is how powerful IPOB is. Because of IPOB, Nigeria has no... Bring him out. They can't. That is the might of IPOB. Proscribed, secessionist. That's what they're doing to you. Because of IPOB, that cockroach you put there, Aisha's boyfriend, that idiot in that place wearing a mask of Buhari cannot come outside, cannot do anything live anymore. Let us play this clip that the world may hear, if you've not already heard about it. Now listen.
President of the General Assembly.
Yes.
Secretary of the United Nations. Excellencies. Distinguished delegates.
I want to play this thing, please.
To introduce.
Listen, let's start from the beginning.
President of the General Assembly, Secretary of the United Nations,
yes,
Excellencies, distinguished delegates.
Yes.
It's my honor and privilege to introduce a pre-recorded statement from President Muhammad Buhari of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Listen.
President of the General Assembly,
President of General Assembly,
Secretary of the United Nations,
UN.
Excellencies, distinguished delegates.
Yes, delegates.
It's my honor and privilege to introduce a pre-recorded statement from President Muhammad Buhari.
Hi, God. COVID-19, they claim, prevented him from traveling to New York to address the UN. Every head of state in the world addressed the UN. But when it came to the turn of the Zoological Republic Nigeria, their president offered a pre-recorded. Shoyinka called him a ghost. Pre-recorded video to the chairman, to the president of the General Assembly of the United Nations. Pre-recorded video. And I want to ask Chineke, God, are you sure you created these Nigerians? I want to, is it the same God that made other people that created these animals in the zoo? Your president, and you claim you have a president, a young boy who is alive, he cannot address the world live because of fear of IPOB. And then Nnamdi Kanu, bring him out live now. We have technology that is superior to yours. We will simply pinpoint all the faults in the idiot, and the world, you think the world doesn't know, the whole world knows. Some of you idiots. President Buhari. This Buhari. No, because we used to castigate them. It is no longer presidency. It's now Buhari. Come out and talk. Pre-recorded presidency. Pre-recorded from the time that Buhari was alive before he died in January of 2017 in London and was flown to Saudi Arabia. We have the flight paths. Don't you know that? Presidential jet left with the idiot's corpse to Saudi Arabia, where he was buried. And since then, bring out your president. Let him come and address the people live and answer questions. No. And you claim you have a president. Intelligentsia, intellectuals. Umwokoko everywhere. Idiots everywhere. Baboons all over the place. Very, very sad indeed. That is the reason why we must sit at home. Because anybody preaching unity or one Nigeria to you is your enemy. Anybody preaching one Nigeria to you, anybody who comes to you and talks about one Nigeria, know that that person is your greatest enemy in life. Because those that used to preach one Nigeria like Danjuma, they no longer preach one Nigeria anymore. They have seen something. And I keep wondering, Obasanjo, why are you talking about one Nigeria when you know that Nigeria is not viable? Obasanjo is supposed to know. But he keeps fooling, and of course he's an agent. He keeps fooling himself. They are the ones that want the zoo to remain one. They are the ones that want this zoological republic to be a place for nepotistic Fulani people. The Islamic terrorism sweeping the zoo, Nigeria today, is part of a secret plot to Islamize Nigeria, and they know it. It is not by accident that Nigeria's security forces are led by extremist Fulani Islamists in uniform. Everybody knows that. They have suppressed the northern Christians. They think they can do that. They can do that with anybody, but not with IPOB. You know that now. They know us very well. We can do that nonsense with other people, not with IPOB. The dragon flag has been raised. We must defend ourselves. If they kill you, you kill them back. I am saying it on live radio all over the world. After all, the letter from British parliamentarians recognized it. If Fulani person is claiming he's a soldier, a terrorist in uniform, come to your village to kill you, kill them. They are useless people. They think they can cow us. Fake soldiers everywhere. Everything is fake. Fake certificate. Everything is fake. Fake president. Come out and speak now. Let's see. You say you're not afraid of Nnamdi Kanu, you're not afraid of IPOB, you can do anything. Come out and speak. It's a simple challenge. If you claim you have a president, bring out the idiot. Bring him outside. Let him speak live. Every Friday, I take calls from people. In the next 2 days, I'll take calls from live. Ask me any question, I will answer. Let the idiot open up and say, ordinary, I'm not asking the public, ordinary journalists, let them ask him questions and let's see if he will survive it. Fake, with his plastic silicon face, Buhari silicon face. In Cuba was hole in the neck. Instead of journalists to ask them, how come that hole has gone? They no longer ask. Come on, UN. Address UN live. You cannot. You claim you are alive. You are a president. United Nations with heads of state waiting. It's a pre-recorded video. Femi Adesina have spent months editing and re-editing and doing the deep fake with AI, artificial intelligence, deep faking it, because he is not there. That is why they have to use deep fake videos to see if they can deceive their fellow people at the UN. But the UN, they're very smart. They were thinking anyway, they'll say it's Nigeria, leave it. That's the way it is. Useless people everywhere. You think you can deceive us? You are dreaming. You are dreaming. We are live and we are direct. The military also invaded Oji River. They went to Oji River. They will not go to their north where there are terrorists to do anything. Where Fulani are killing people in Ebonyi State where our sister was killed. She received a machete cut to the back of the head and she is dead now. You cannot see them there. But at 5 o'clock on Tuesday, that was yesterday, around 5:45 a.m., the zoo army invaded the home of IPOB Oji River coordinator, Mazi Ojibo, Inomoka, Amampunato, Achi, in Oji River local government area of Anambra State. Information has it that there were more than 30 in number. Fulani, in Biafra land, looking for who to abduct and who to kill. Whereas the terrorism is running riot in the north. Very, very sad indeed. They broke down the gate. That's what they're doing in Enugu. Tomorrow night they start talking rubbish about IPOB. Now you can see this provocation. You can see it very clearly. Tomorrow night they start complaining. They start crying like little children. They know. They will get it very, very soon. And they understand. We don't know when they are going to stop. But now we are letting the world know that we don't know who a Nigerian soldier is and who a terrorist is, because they are bringing terrorists into the army. So we are now going to treat every soldier in our land as a terrorist. Every soldier in Biafra land is a terrorist. Because if you're in that uniform, we don't know what you're doing. You're coming to create a pathway for Fulani to invade us. Who knows? Look at how you're behaving, going to people's homes, breaking down their gates. What for, I ask? Is there any terrorism in Oji River? Did you get any complaint about terrorism in Oji River? Very, very sad indeed. Very, very sad indeed. Extremely sad. But we must continue. We must continue because we are live this very evening and our time is running and running and running and running, and we must try to conclude as quickly as possible. We must try to conclude as quickly as possible. Because this very day, as with every other day, we have said that we are going to bring you this very news live, and that's what we're doing, something that the zoo cannot do. Something, let the person they claim is Buhari, bring him out. Bring him out, let us see. Bring him out, let us see. Not like a funny friend of Hanese. Every time we no go agree, we no go agree. That's all they say. They write a press release. And all these years of press release, what has it achieved? Nothing. They drag Afeni Fere and others into it. Water Resources Bill, Afeni Fere, Hanese and others, tackle government as federal government says critics ill-informed. They want to Islamize you. Writing press statement is not going to solve the problem. The only thing the Fulanis understand is direct confrontation. How many times do I have to tell you this? You're busy writing your little petty grammar, press release, they don't care. They don't give a damn. They have made up their mind. They want to use this very period of Buhari's death. He's no longer there. I asked you before to go and watch the film El Cid, starring Charlton Heston, I think it's called. Am I mixing names? It's Charlton Heston, isn't it? It's called. The very big Hollywood actor. I think he's late now. That was a film he acted. It was shot in Spain. El Cid, go and say it. El Cid was a warrior for the Spanish. They were fighting the Moors, the Arabs, when they were in Spain. And the Arabs feared him so much that even though he sustained an arrow wound and died, the wife gave permission for him to be propped up on a horse and to ride into battle with his king. So that when they saw that El Cid was still alive, the Arabs fled. That's what they're doing. They know Buhari is dead. They brought up somebody, put a plastic on his face, claiming he's Buhari, to scare all of you. And you are all truly scared, isn't it? That's how cowardly most of you is. We are against Water Resources Bill. Is that what they are busy advancing with their army? They're in Oron tonight, advancing with their gunboats, terrorizing civilians everywhere they go. It's full and they want to take over everywhere. And the last line of defense is IPOB. Imagine if we had given up in years gone by. Do you think that the Duduwas would have had the courage to do what they're doing? They can now look at IPOB and say, yes, what IPOB is doing is they're very consistent. Now we can do something because they know we're not going to fail. And I do hope and pray to God in heaven that this new generation of Oduduwa agitators, that they do not fail us. Very, very important indeed, please. Very, very important indeed. I wrote something, I published something I came across in a newspaper about Oduduwa Obas in Yoruba land telling whoever they call Buhari and Asorok, the mask wearer, to allow Nigeria to break into autonomous federations. This is what I expect traditional rulers to be doing. And my admiration for all the Yoruba Obas that put this thing together is immense. I respect them for that. But in our land, they are busy going to Afeze's house and collecting money when other people are thinking very far. Allow Nigeria to break into autonomous federations, according to Yoruba Obas. This is how people should be thinking because they now understand that that is the solution. And I do hope and pray that these Obas from Yoruba land will rise up and apologize posthumously, to apologize to Biafrans and to Ojukwu in particular. Because I'm sure that most of them were against Ojukwu in 1967. Now that they have come round to come out openly to declare, it's an independence, it's on my wall, I wrote about it. Allow Nigeria to break into autonomous federations. Yoruba Obas tell, I hope they're not doing this because of Tinubu. Maybe Fulani will say, okay, let's give it to Tinubu so you can calm down. I hope they know we will not forgive you forever and ever. Never. If Oduduwa, if they try to go back on this, there will be no forgiveness forever and ever. We're making it very clear. But every support they need, we will give. But if they're doing all these things because of Tinubu, to give Tinubu presidency, no, we won't have it. Never. They must be very careful, please. Before you come out to agitate for freedom, you must be prepared for every consequence that will flow from it. You must be prepared for every consequence. And not that our Yoruba Oduduwa brethren don't have their own fair share of Efulefus. They are there everywhere. There's one that calls himself Murik, whatever that means. You know that he wants to look like Yasser Arafat, but he's the very ugly version of Yasser Arafat. He wears that, is it kafke, they call it. That thing they wear on the head. The Arabs wear. He is a Yoruba man, but he's an unfortunate Arab. He said the Muslim rights concern has told protagonists of the proposed Oduduwa Republic to stop using fake Islamic organizations to camouflage as Muslims. There are, Efulefus everywhere. I thought the last of Joy Ibukwe is only confined to our land. I don't know, they also have them. This is another Joy Ibukwe of Yoruba land. The director of Murik, Professor Ishak Akintola. This is the idiot that cannot lead the prayer in the north. You see him there trying to claim Islamic. This fool, if he goes to the north, cannot lead the Juma prayer on Friday. He cannot. They cannot allow him. Because they don't see him as a genuine Muslim. They see him as somebody who is two-faced. He is there trying to scuttle Yoruba freedom. I told you that Fulani are very clever. They give you people, they create your own leaders for you. So that when this idiot is talking, people will think a human being is talking. That is the way it is. Everybody has their own fair share of Efulef. But I think maybe ours is worse, to be honest with you. Maybe ours is worse. And that brings us to the end of our program this very day. There are a few announcements I intend to make. There are some changes we have made in some of the positions that we have. A few changes that we have made. Karamonde said that the stuff I want her to publish is in Latin. Hey, so that she needs to work on it. But I will release the papers for you. We have them. Treaty. After releasing that paper, let me see the idiot again that will write rubbish, secessionist. Anyway, of course you write it because some of you didn't go to school. Some of you are very, very dumb. That is why you write it, because you have no sense of reference. You don't reference anything. You don't reference anything at all. We have discussed Oji River, and there are some announcements to be made, please. Very, very important. Etim Jeremiah Udofia, which is Udofia is an Igbo name. Etim, of course, is a Ibibio, Efik, or Anang. Etim Jeremiah Udofia is our coordinator for the Western region. Western coordinator. Anthony Ndubisi is Oyo State coordinator. Okoro Oga is the Ogun State coordinator. Madara Buchiwani is the Ekiti State coordinator of IPOB. Pomtera Barido Williams is the Abuja coordinator, please. I repeat, Etim Jeremiah Udofia is the Western coordinator. Anthony Ndubisi, Oyo State coordinator. Okoro Oga, Ogun State coordinator. Madara Buchiwani, Ekiti State coordinator. Pomtera Barido Williams is Abuja coordinator. Please, as I've mentioned your names, be very, very careful. You know, we have kidnappers in military and in police uniforms, please. And I want to make it abundantly clear, where you cannot safeguard your meeting venue, please do not hold meetings in Biafra land. But if you can secure your ground, then you can hold meetings. And you must make sure that you inform the volunteer command in your area before you hold any meetings. I don't want to hear that our meeting places are busted anymore and anyone arrested. We don't need that. All our officers must be very, very careful. Very, very careful this very period. Our flag has been raised. It's very, very critical that our officers are extremely careful. Your movement, who you talk to on the phone, and where possible, please stay off direct line. Only converse through WhatsApp. And that WhatsApp line should not be the number of your data on your phone. I'm making this announcement public because they cannot track it. But if you're using ordinary phone, you can be easily tracked and arrested. Please, very, very important, use smartphones. Make sure that the SIM card you have in your phone for data is not the same number as your WhatsApp. Make your calls on WhatsApp. If they're not there, leave them a message, please. Very, very important. Our officers must be safe. Very, very safe, please. Very, very safe. And you have IPOB all over the world. People can set up WhatsApp numbers for you all across the world. Just indicate it will be done. Don't allow your WhatsApp number to be the same number that is on your phone that is supplying the data for you to chat with. Very, very important, please. And only communicate via Signal, only communicate via Telegram, only communicate via WhatsApp. Stop communicating or calling each other direct on the phone because they can track you that way. Very, very important, please. Very, very important. Please. Ngo is potash. But it's not only potash, there are other things in Ungo. And want the name for it, please. Ungo. If you say that IPOB is not potent to try us, and you see what shall become of you. The zoo today has no president because of the formidability of IPOB worldwide. Bring out that idiot you claim is Buhari, and we dissect the bastard. They know that very, very well. That is why even to UN, because of us, the zoo has no president. Nobody to address the UN live anymore. We have rendered them impotent. That is how formidable we are. And that is how formidable all of you are as well, those of you who have listened this evening. And I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for joining us this very day. Friday morning, 7 a.m. Biafra land time. Live question and answer. Any question you have, you bring it forward and we shall answer it. Once again, I thank you very much for listening. And for those who do not know, those who cannot fathom our fanaticism about Biafra, I want you to know this very evening, morning, afternoon, or night, depending on where you are, that to us, Biafra is not just a nation. It is not just a country worth fighting for. To us, Biafra is our religion. If you ask me, what is your religion? I tell you Biafra. Here on radio, Biafra is where we worship, because here is our temple, a temple of truth, dedicated to the Most High. Because Elohim, Chukwokika is our God. From me, from here, with every love in my heart, good evening.